Welcome back to Power Breakfast. This morning we want to dedicate some time to a most controversial and significant issue in this country, the matter of land. Over the last couple of months, in fact many months, there has been wrangling between the Ministry of Lands led by the Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu on the one hand and the National Land Commission on the other, chaired by Muhammad Swazuri. The two are fighting over territory. Who should do what at the Ministry of Lands or in respect of land in this country. Yesterday, the President visited the ministry and in the company of the Cabinet Secretary Charity Ngilu approved an ongoing program to digitize the registry. He did not visit the National Lands Commission, which is on the same building. This morning, we have in the studio Muhammad Swazuri, the chairman, to tell us what is going on in the ministry and in the country with regard to land. Karibu, Chairman. It's been a long time you coming around. We've looked for you. A lot of wrangles have gone on for months. What have you been up to?
Well, we have been trying to get our footing on the mandate that we were given by the Constitution of Kenya, the National Land Policy, and of course the enabling legislation, the Land Act, the Land Registration Act, and the National Land Commission Act. It has not been easy, as you can see, because the issue is, as far as we are concerned, is interpretation of the law in a different way, either intentionally or accidentally, we don't know. But as far as we are concerned, we came into office, we looked at the legislation which brought us there, and we think this is the way we thought this is the way we should embark on our journey to land reforms. However, there are several pieces of legislation which are being interpreted in a different manner, and I think this is the cause of the what we are calling tough wars. For example, the Article 6, Section 6 of the Land Act clearly elaborates the functions of the Ministry of Land and Housing and Urban Development. And then the Constitution and all the laws I've mentioned have explained in various sections the functions and roles and mandates of the National Land Commission. If you are to go by that, surely everyone can follow their lane. Right. And we will reach where we are.
So you think that the Cabinet Secretary is not driving on her lane?
But I think the interpretation, especially in some respects to the law.
Yes.
Like what? Like, for example, especially the registration of titles to land. In the Constitution, in all the laws I've said, it is said that the Land Commission will advise the government on registration, or will ensure land is registered all over the country in 10 years, will ensure that all unregistered trust land and community land is registered, and so on. And then the Land Registration Act says we shall declare registration units, we shall maintain registrars, registers, we shall maintain the registries, we shall be the depository of maps and so on.
Right.
Okay. Now, in our opinion, that gives us the mandate to do that, because we have been told that it must have been done within 10 years. So timelines are given for every category of registration. But the interpretation by other people is that because the registrar, we found the registrar already employed by the ministry when we came in.
Right.
And this registrar is employed through the Public Service Commission. And there is no sentence in the law which expressly says that the registrar should be under the commission. Neither is there a sentence which says the registrar should be under the ministry. Simply because we found the registrar already under the ministry, it's been assumed that now that function is
government,
the ministry. Under the ministry. And you know, the registrar comes at the end of the process.
Yes.
Okay, once you see the application for allocation is received by the commission, we take it for verification whether the land is there, we take it to the planners, we take it to the surveyors, they bring it back. It's a back and forth process to ensure that everything is there.
Yes.
And then when at the time we were coming in, there was a transitional clause which allowed the former Commissioner of Lands to sign. We authenticate and then they sign. It is only after that it is taken to the registrar to record.
Right.
Actually, the colonial word was recorder of titles. Everything has been done in record. That's the last person.
Okay.
But now it is taken as if, because that person we've still found in the ministry.
Right.
And the word registration comes from the registrar.
Yes.
Then it means now it has to be a shared function. Now, before you ask your question, before we came to the National Land Policy, whose most of its contents were transferred to the Constitution, on management allocation of land in this country was under the President's office,
yes,
delegated through the Commissioner of Lands.
Yes.
Okay, under that, everybody was, it was like a conveyor belt. Everybody was there. The planner, the surveyor, the land officer, the registrar, the settlement, and so on, so that you could easily find out at which stage these things are, and they're all under one roof.
Yes.
Now the commission has come in to take over the functions of the former Commissioner of Lands. We were assuming ourselves that even these other
functions,
other specialities,
yes,
will still be under.
Yes.
Now it is the interpretation is that no, some are on that side, others are on that side. I think that is where we have that different interpretation. The other issue, of course, is that all over the world, land reforms have not been easy, because land reforms completely change the way things are done, the way people live, the way allocation of landed resources is done. And it is always fraught with difficulties, hostilities, resistance, and so on. We are not the only people who are facing that. It has happened elsewhere. And therefore, there are some old habits which cannot die very easily. And therefore, you find that some kind of resistance is also put in place, because this is the way we have been doing things, and it has been like that. And therefore, anything that comes anew is human beings are like that.
The powers of the Land Commission are very wide and provided for in chapter 5, I think, of the land of the Constitution, a huge chapter. And the first and express power is that the management of public land is vested in your actually a lot of land, really, so to speak, on behalf of the county governments as well as national government, is vested in the lands, in the commission, National Lands Commission. What is the dispute between you and the ministry? If you can just outline their argument and your argument for the benefit of the viewers in a nutshell.
Our argument is that because we are the ones who have been given that function to allocate public land, to manage and administer, you know, those two words.
The two words are manage.
Yeah.
Management of, yes.
Public land. And management, you know, starts from phase 1 up to the last phase of giving out
the land.
The land. Okay. Now, we believe that we are supposed to undertake all the processes in that up to the end on behalf of county and national government. Where there is a county involved, of course, we seek for consent from the county government.
Yes. Sometimes
they say yes, sometimes they say no, and then you just proceed with that, because they are the owners of the land. We are just the managers, and we are advisors. Until it reaches where they say yes and we proceed with the registration. Now that is where now because the registrar is
in the ministry.
Yes. Then now that is where we have a
So the issue here is registration of titles.
Registration of titles.
And issuance of those titles.
The processing can be done
by anybody else.
Yes.
By you,
not by you, not by us.
Can do.
Yeah,
Land Commission can do the processing and what's not, everything.
Yes. Yeah.
Survey and everything.
Everything.
But registrar.
The surveyors, by the way, even the surveyors and planners are still
with the ministry.
That's what I'm saying. At one time, when there was Commission of Lands, they are all assumed to be under one roof. Yes. Now our commission has come in. Now we are told these ones, that side and that side. That's already another. Although we have not been hindered from utilizing their services,
yes,
and they have never refused using our services. But that is where the issue is.
Registration
now,
of titles.
Registration. I think that is because you see the first impact that people feel about land reforms is whether titles are being given out or not, and whether the process of giving the titles is fast or slow, or any inconsistencies in any inhibitions in there have been removed. That's the first thing, because you know people value, and there is value in that title.
Yes.
So I think the concentration has been on
the
that.
Titles issuance.
We have and you see the impact of that is easily and visibly felt.
Now, I may ask you this, which is a political question, and that's where the government perhaps, or the ministry comes in. The government has a policy of giving out title deeds of allocation, registration and issuance of title deeds. Is the political end of this business you do, and it's interested in delivering that function quickly. You are an independent commission. The government can't push you, can't instruct you, we want titles this year, we want this area finished quickly, isn't it? That is what is implied in your independence.
Well,
so how is the government supposed to perform its land reform end of things if it cannot control the registration and issuance of that title?
In the entire constitution and even the enabling laws,
yes,
two words have always been used: consultation and participation.
Yes.
The commission and all other stakeholders are supposed to consult each other. They are supposed to participate or together in all these activities. The commission is funded by the government. It's an independent commission. However, it has to implement government policy. And this National Land Commission is not opposed to that. It is fully agreeable with the government policy. We are only saying that let the government say we need 500 titles in Githurai. The technical work of producing those is the work of the commission. The commission can do that.
But how will it do so without being directed? Isn't that the whole point of independence, that you should not take directions from the executive? So how will it be able to say, give us 500 titles, or we want to issue titles in Githurai or Kwale?
Yeah. But you see, there is a clause in the mandate of the cabinet secretary or ministry which says that it will monitor sector performance. That one gives them a window to come and ask, by the way, I told you 500, where are they?
Yes.
Yeah, that gives them the window. But the technical work of doing those 500, we believe, is the work of the commission. Then now you take this to the minister and say, here we have delivered, now the political wing can go and do what they want to do. We have no problem with that arrangement.
I guess that...
What is the issue?
The issue is that this technical part, being allowed to undertake this technical part, yes, up to the end, is where the issue is.
So who is doing it? If you are not doing it, who is doing it?
You're doing only a part of it.
We are now doing it as part of it. Then the other part.
And you want that part, which is the registration of titles.
It should be complete.
You want that back to you.
According to the way we understand the law,
yes,
it should be.
So what will then the ministry do? What will be left for the ministry?
And that's what I've said. If you look at the section 6, yes, it says the ministry will facilitate the work of the commission.
Okay.
That means mobilizing resources. The ministry will set standards in the land sector. The ministry will regulate professionals in the land sector, surveyors, architects, valuers, and so on.
Yeah.
The ministry will maintain a national spatial data infrastructure. It's
Right.
given there.
Yes, yes.
The ministry will monitor land sector performance.
Yes.
So if that one is is done like that,
Yes, yes.
then as we think
You do the
into
technical
that,
work,
that's
back
what we,
work.
that's what
They do the
we-
policy
that's-
management
that's what we, that's what,
end of things.
yeah, that's what
So
we
what
do.
is the issue if the registrar is under the ministry? If you've done, if you can do all the technical work and give it to him, what's the issue?
I don't know how I should explain.
Yeah,
to
I
you,
get the
because
point,
you
because
get the
it is your
point.
function. It is your function to actually do the
Yes,
registration,
yes.
and then, you know, allow the ministry to
Yeah,
do the
yeah.
public or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
political
yeah.
end of giving out those titles.
Yeah.
You have a problem with the ministry issuing the titles that you have prepared.
We have no problem with that.
Yes.
We have always said there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
Because as we provided that we have done our part,
Yeah.
then the other part is given, it's okay.
Okay, the argument is, and anyone looking in, is that this is the traditional battle for control of the land resource. There are people who have grabbed land who don't want that, who want to have control of that. There are those who want to use the opportunity of registration to make it political so they can continue to allocate land and titles. You know, the corruption that surrounds land allocation and management in this country. Is this what is going on, or how do you interpret the resistance or the battle for control of these functions?
I think part of it is fear. People fear that the commission has been given, as you said, rightly said, a lot of mandates, huge mandates, and there are some powers which are very, very critical. For example, in Article 14 of the National Land Commission Act, the commission is allowed to investigate a title, and if they find that it was illegally acquired,
Yes.
they can recommend for its revocation.
Yes.
If it was irregularly acquired, they can regularize it. That is one area where people fear that we may be interested in that. But we have said this is not a witch hunting commission. And even doing that, there is a process, there is a procedure. You can't just wake up and say, today bring your title, I'm going to cancel it like that.
Yes.
Okay. The other fear is that, which we think, I don't know whether this is what the reasons you're asking for, is that there is this element of historical injustice,
Yes.
where you have to, where the law says within 2 years we have to formulate a law which will enable investigations into historical injustices. We have not yet started that. We have just created a task force to formulate the law which we shall take through the process.
Yes.
But I think people fear that maybe that it will be a process. It will not be done just like that. If we don't do it, if we don't do it in a logical and legal manner, there will be chaos.
Yes.
So, and we know that. So we cannot just wake up and try to ask these people from one region, how are you done by this? So can we get this? It's not possible. The other thing which also I think has people are worried. So some people may be thinking that the commission is going to venture into is where there's a section which says we shall review public grants of land to see whether they were regularly or properly allocated. Even that itself is a process which has to be done through a certain procedure. It's not just a question of thinking you got this land, can you bring it here, and then we take it through and we tell you no, this is not yours. No, everything has a process. If we went that way, the way people are thinking, we will not manage this country. It will be chaos, and therefore we have been very, very careful to not to perform those functions quickly until we have got the enabling regulations and enabling laws.
But that is taking too long to come, people will say. In fact,
I know
Swazuri, the point is people are saying, look, at least Ngilu is doing something. We have seen she's cleaning up the registry. For good or for worse, she's doing something.
Yeah.
What is the National Land Commission doing?
That's what I'm saying. Every regulation and every act that is supposed to be recommended, according to the Constitution, is supposed to be participatory.
Right.
you are supposed to involve several stakeholders, just like the way the constitution was made.
Yes.
We are supposed to go all over the place, have certain forums that must be, and you know you have no control over some of those forums. So you sometimes you require even outside benchmarking to go and find out how others, because we are not the only ones who are implementing reforms, or you call people from other experienced countries to come and assist in this. So yes, they may be taking some time, but you see, these are things which we want to use for eternity.
Yes.
Are things which are going to be used for a long time. We don't want to come back next year and then they come and say, oh, sorry, we are not right about that.
Allow me to say this before you come in. The public perception of the commission is not very great. They think you have been in office, you have nothing to show for it. Can you say you have been in office for about a year now? What is it that you have been doing that 1 year in the interest of sorting out the national land problem?
Okay, we have answered that in our annual report.
Yes.
According to the constitution, we are supposed to provide a report to
the
Parliament,
and Parliament,
which we have done.
Yes.
In that report, we have explained what we have done. For example, we have there are so many settlement schemes which have been incomplete, which we have tried to mop up and complete. I didn't come with the list. There are several education sections which we have been looking at. We are trying to create even new ones. There are several extensions, renewals of change of user of properties, which we do on a daily basis, and the totals are in thousands in that report. We have participated in the formulation of these laws. The community land bill, we were part of it. The evictions and resettlement bill, we were part of it, and those ones have taken, they were even started before us. Some of them have taken quite some time. We have even the regulations, amendments to the Land Act and the Land Registration Act, which are already ready for us, and those ones have also taken quite some time. And then we have handled daily issues of disputes of people not having their titles in time, a backlog that has been there for over a long time. Every day we receive hundreds and hundreds of these cases, and sorting them out means going back to the original counties where they come from and coming back to sort of them. So it has been
those are not problems being handled by the Ministry of Lands. They
are coming to us because the law says we are supposed to enter into alternative dispute resolution mechanisms. It's our mandate.
Okay.
And we have also tried to settle squatters in some areas where they have got disputes with either land that belongs to the public,
like
the government, or land that is owned by private individuals. Like in majority of these have been in Coast Province, where we have entered into negotiations with the people in areas like Kijipwa, in Vipingo, in Watamu, and so on. Those negotiations don't take a day.
Okay.
Okay.
I know that's a very detailed report you put out. Have you considered putting this in the media?
Yes, it is.
Publishing
yes,
it,
we are. In fact,
so that the public can know what you're doing.
Yes,
and
in fact, we had the abridged version brought to my desk on Tuesday. I'm trying to reduce it because it's a bit long. It's a bit long. We need 1 or 2 pages of that.
In the Chairman, concerning land, the history of land in this country, and that the proposing the constitution and the laws, and the history of this country about pre-colonial and post-colonial, and the way people are settled, and the way people, some of them in power, have the huge chunks of land. How do you expect to succeed in this? I don't think you have any hope.
Well, that's what everybody keeps on saying. But you see, these things are not done just in air like that. These things are done. They were recommended by law, and therefore it has been said we shall enact legislation to ensure those processes are done. Without following the law, you know, we are going to have problems in that. So it is the process of formulating that law that will enable us to look into those issues, which is now in process now. So we don't know how the people will take it, but once we have that machinery, we have now less than a year to produce those drafts, and then we will see how to go about it.
You talked about fear.
Fear.
And that fear is real. Real fear.
So now, because there is real fear, because there is real fear, Mr. Mutegi, you can't just give up and say I'm not going to do it.
Yes.
Because there is fear. Some decisions have to be taken, but provided there is
the people in fear, the people in power.
Is the framework, as I told you, the laws that we are going to make, the regulations are going to be consultative.
Yeah.
Everybody is going to give their own views that, well, when you come to this, we suggest you do this and do that. It will not come from the commission alone. So we will go by what the participatory process says.
If I know, for instance, I was allocated, because I'm a journalist, somebody gave me some land where is the research for potatoes, some carry land or some land belonging to agricultural ADC. And I know it is there, it was, or it's a forest, which was not even gazetted. Why would I want to consult with you? Why would I want to listen to you? If anything, I want to put every block to make sure you don't succeed.
So are you suggesting that we give up and leave it because people are going to protest? Our answer to that is no. We will follow the guidelines which are there. Let people come out and say we are not giving out this land, and then the law will take its course. It's not something that you can do easily, and that's why you are saying, that's why what he's saying, that you may not be seeing the results as visible as they are, because it's
a mad you're trying to unravel.
And the other thing you must also know, you need to approach it with a lot of soberness. If you approach it with a lot of kifua, we are going to have chaos. You know, in this country, land is very, very emotive.
Yes.
So the window of patience we are giving and the cautiousness with which we are following it up should not be construed to mean that we are not doing anything. As you say, for example, and then I just bring you out like that, forcefully, the way you have said. You have done that, and I bring out forcefully, and I bring 10 others like you, and you are that type of person. What do you think will happen?
Let me ask you, let's sort out the politics of this thing. Do you have the capacity to do the work? Because earlier on there was a complaint that you are not sufficiently allocated resources in the budget. You are supposed to have a national vote as a commission. Are you getting enough funds?
Well, in terms of funds, I must say we are getting funds, but they may not be enough.
What did you ask for and how much did you get?
When we came in as a commission, remember we were 8 months late, and money had been put aside for us. By the time we came, we found only 120 million remaining. That is February, end of February last year. So that was February up to June last year, 120. Very small amount. And you know, we had to set up things, we had to buy vehicles and so on. Almost all of it went to purchasing. Establishment. Establishment. Half of the establishment. Then July, financial year 2013-2014, we were allocated 206 million. Out of a budget of about 3.4 billion, we were allocated 206.
That's what I'm saying. What did you ask for? I mean, it looks like you're getting
that's what I'm saying.
In a nutshell.
That's what I'm saying. We asked for 3.4 billion.
3.4 billion.
We were given 206 million. Now
that's less than 10%.
That's what I'm saying. Please, let me answer the question. You have said, how are you funding?
And I'm giving you whether you have resources.
And I'm giving you the, but I can't tell you we have less resources.
All right.
Elaborate
the gravity of the matter. Go ahead.
Elaborating.
Yes.
Now in this 15 financial year, we had a budget of 7 billion because of the many adjudication and settlements programs that we have indicated, plus the other mandates that we have of managing public land owned by public agencies, ensuring that ecosystems are well planned and so on. All those are part of our mandate.
Yes.
We looked at each function and categorized how much, calculated how much we would require. So we had a budget of 7 billion. It was, we went for a consultative forum for budget. This is how it is done these days.
Yes. And
it was used to about 3 billion.
Right.
Now, the allocation that came was 493 million, with a promise that it will be added to 2 billion. So this is what
now that's why I asked, do you have the capacity to really perform your function, or the expectation from the public is not going to be met because you are under-resourced, you're underfunded terribly by 10? You are given 10% of the resources you need.
Yeah, but our only hope is that the law allows us to look for funding elsewhere. Elsewhere.
And are you attracting funding?
And we are looking for funding. I think last month we went to Washington, even with the cabinet secretary.
Yes.
It was a shopping basket
kind of funds
for funds and so on.
Okay.
There are promises.
Let's move on to. Are you enjoying support with the? What is your relationship with the executive? Is the government, is the presidency supporting this work? Because it's at the core of even its own policy, Jubilee, sorting out the landlessness and land issues, which have been big until the post-election violence.
Agenda 4 was about land.
Agenda 4 was
about.
So this is a big issue in this country. Is there political will? Are you enjoying it?
In our view, there is political will. There is political will to sort out the land problem. Remember that these recommendations for creating a National Land Commission were there a long time ago.
Yes.
There are so many inquiries, there are so many...
So you're enjoying political will, but you're not enjoying the funding. How is that?
Well, you see, the political will we are enjoying is that we have been assured several times, and the president has said it, and the deputy president has said it several times, that they will support the National Land Commission, and we believe they will support the
When will they, when they are giving you 10% of the budget?
Land Commission. After we have been told that, and we believe that is the right position, we simply ask for our budget, we simply go for negotiating.
So what convinces you that there is political will if the actions are not met, the words and the actions are at variance?
That is now your own interpretation. But from
the facts you've given, you asked for 3 billion, you're given 400 million.
Look, the thing is, if I tell you I will support you in this, what are you supposed to say? I believe that we have political. In fact,
would I say that you're gullible if you have to believe what you're told, and then the actions are not measuring up?
No, but I've told you we are allowed to look for funds.
Okay.
Okay, we are allowed to look for funds elsewhere.
All right, because we are running out of time, let me size it this way.
Yeah.
There's been a dispute raging between you and the ministry.
Yeah.
For months, it's become an ugly evidence of government conflict, so to speak, for people looking in.
Yeah.
There was reported a meeting that was to happen to bring you and the ministry to be, by the executive, the president, to resolve this. Has that happened? The president visited the other house, didn't come to your office, went to see the cabinet secretary.
Let me say that we have been meeting, us and the ministry, very many times, several times. We have been in Parliament several times, even last week on Tuesday. Yes. We were in Parliament under the Committee on Implementation of the Commission of the Constitution.
Yes.
We have been under the Lands Committee of Parliament. We have also been to the Land Committee of Senate. We have also held 3 meetings in Office of the President, together with CIC, and the Nyachai-led CIC.
And the results of all these meetings?
And so on. And the results of this is that the first issue that I mentioned still comes up.
Mandate.
Difference in interpretation of the mandate.
Do you think the Supreme Court opinion will sort out the matter?
We think so. That's why we went there.
So you went to court?
The cabinet secretary closed the office and you have gone to court.
You went to court
people
yesterday.
think that, or the way she's portraying it, she wants to digitize the place, clean up the mess in the filing systems. Some people think she's facilitating, other people think they're probably obstructing. I don't know. Why
do you have a problem with her action? The 10-day program
I wouldn't go into that, because it is already in court.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go to that. Otherwise, I'll be arrested after I leave here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But the issue is the political solution to your dispute has failed, because you've gone to the Parliamentary Constitution Implementation Committee on the Implementation of the Constitution. You've had meetings in the committee. You have met everybody, and there's nothing that has come of it.
I don't think it has failed, because we are still going for another round of talks. I think on 18th. With all those stakeholders. You see, this this constitution of ours allows us to encourages us to talk. Instead of banging and so on and so on, we are allowed to dialogue until we come to an amicable solution.
Yes. Yeah. What is your view about squatters? I'm thinking about somebody in the coast who has 1,000 acres of land, that's squatters. And many other people land. The other day, some people were killed in Grogan Road. What do you think about
Section 160, subsection 2 of the Land Act requires the Commission to enter into negotiations. It's a mandate that has been given to us to enter into negotiations between landowners and squatters. And in most cases, we find that a very viable way, because sometimes the landowners agree to want to share. That if it's 100 acres and these people are occupying 20 of them, well, give them the 20, we remain with the 80. So the only option that we have there is to negotiate with the squatters and the owners.
Where is the success areas?
Well, we as I say, the negotiations are still going on. About 3 or so are about to reach fruition. Is only the size of the acreage which is the main issue. Otherwise, all other issues of moving them from one corner to the other, that one have been accepted. No compensation for them except the parcel of land they're going to give in, that one has been accepted, and so on.
There is an issue of the leases that have expired, particularly in urban areas like Nairobi, and whether you are the one to be charged or whether the cabinet secretary. What's that issue?
According to the way we understand the law, extension of lease is an allocation of land, and therefore it falls under our mandate. If you go to the functions of the county land management boards, which we are trying to put up, is simply the main issue is consider extension of leases. So yes, because most of them were 99 years and were given in 1910, 1914 there. Most of them are either expired or they're about to expire, and therefore, these ones you have to seek consent from the county governments in which they are situated.
What about 999?
Those ones that are allowed by the Constitution.
By the Constitution, they're now 99 years old.
They're only 99.
Yeah, but before we wind up, there was a claim that the Lands Commission was approving allocations, those renewals you were talking about, and there was a that it was irregular, that you are doing such a thing.
Well, with those ones we have tried to investigate, and we didn't think anything, because consent from the relevant county governments were obtained. If the county government says no, and then you proceed, then you have a problem with that.
Okay. Yeah. Finally, just as a parting shot, what is to be expected of the Commission in the coming days in terms of a program of action? What people saying, okay, we don't want to wait for many days to get titles. That's a big question. Ngilu seems to be answering that by digitizing the registry and moving, which of course you're going to court to say you have issues with. But what is to be expected of you in resolving the pressing need of Kenyans to get their titles quickly? Forget about even land, public land, private ones.
By the way, we are not going to go to stop digitalization. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's something that we need.
You are in support of digitization.
Now, it's a function of the Commission.
Yes.
It is given in the law.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's now being done by lands, by the ministry.
What we are saying is that the Commission has a program of action, which is already, and we want to publish that action, program of action.
Yes.
For example, 2 weeks ago, we went to Coast and we sorted out all the issues that we came up with all the issues that are supposed to be sorted out with the members of Parliament of the Coast, governors and senators, all of them.
Right.
And each one of them told us, okay, start with that one, start with that, start with that.
Right.
From Monday, our team of staff are now going to start implementing that. After that, we are going to South Rift. to call all the leaders there, have a meeting with them and say, we think we need to do this. What is your opinion? Because you have to consult these people.
Okay.
And we go throughout the country like that.
So, shortening the period for titles, which is the biggest concern for the average Kenyan?
That one is
Do we
possible.
expect to see that within a week?
Yes, we expect to shorten that.
You can get a title within a week?
Sure, yes, we expect to. It is possible to do that, provided that the information that we get there is authentic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about issues of double allocation of land?
Issues of double allocation of land, sometimes they occur accidentally, but in most cases they occur through fraud. And most of these are done by the fraudsters, not necessarily the land officers, because people have managed to find their own way of printing their own titles outside the house, which we have really little control of.
All right, we have to come to an end on this particular discussion about the land issue and the tough wars of the ministry, between the Ministry of Lands and Housing and the National Land Commission over their mandate. Mohammed Swazuri, thank you for coming by to enlighten us on what you think your mandate is as we wait for the Supreme Court to make a ruling on who should do what with regard to land issuance of titles and registration in this country. Keep watching Power Breakfast. I'll be back shortly with the newspaper review.